Welcome everyone to this Sunday morning meditation time at Dhammadharani Monastery. You might see behind me the Vesak altar, which the resident bhikkhunis have decorated up so nicely, with the Buddha at the top representing the enlightenment. And then just below that, the small white figure of the baby Buddha. And then at the lowest level, the reclining figure of the Buddha at the time of his parinibbana. The three great events that we are celebrating during the month of May. The actual full moon day is on May 22nd. And if you have the opportunity to visit one of the temples, which is having an observance on that day, very good. Or if you have time to do a special practice at the night time, if you live in a place where you can go outside and appreciate the beauty of the full moon, to feel that connection. You might not have thought about this, but the sun, the time according to the sun, is different in each time zone around the globe. So if it's 9 o'clock here, it would be 12 o'clock in New York, and so forth, different times in different places. But when the moon reaches the exact maximum moment of being the full moon, it's that same moment all over the world. Anybody who can see the moon would see it as being perfectly full. And so there's a certain kind of way that people in all the time zones of the world are able to unify, or just think about the fellowship, the Sangha, among all the Buddhists everywhere on the special full moon night, at which we recall those three great events in the life of the Buddha. It's my idea that the best way to honor and venerate the Buddha is to practice according to what the Buddha taught. And as I was thinking about which small piece of all the Buddha's teachings that we might think about this morning, I remembered that the Buddha spoke about letting go of everything. And when one has let go completely, then there's nothing to be agitated about. Then one becomes what the Buddha called the sage at peace. When we think about our heroes, it's not just that we become like a lazy lump who just lets the hero do all the work, but instead we are inspired by the example, and we can look within ourselves and see that within ourselves we've got the potential that can be wakened up to embody and to actualize those very same qualities that our hero has represented. So if you would like to be a hero like the Buddha, then you could strive to become a sage at peace by letting go of everything. I'm going to now invite us to come for a guided meditation. Welcome to arrange the body in an upright and balanced posture, making the body as comfortable as possible. Keeping enough energy to hold that upright balance and even see how, as the breath is able to flow in and out very easily without being obstructed or crushed, breathing in deeply, breathing out, aware of the energy of the breath, feeling the entire body from where the breath is strong, radiating out, permeating the whole body. As much as possible, keeping the body still, and also inviting the mind to come to stillness, turning off the radio in the mind that's always talking, talking, talking. Letting go of any emotions from before that could cause as agitation. Just like when the engine turns off and the car comes to a stop, letting the mind come to a stillness like that. Making the decision to put all of our worries from before to the side just for now. Letting all of our plans and wishes about the future put aside just for now. Only being like one who loves nature, sitting very quietly in the forest, observing nature, then sitting very quietly, observing whatever is arising to our awareness. Opening to awareness of the senses, aware of eyes that can see, with eyes open, can see the room or the Buddha statue. Eyes closed, can see maybe light coming through the eyelids. Grateful for eyes that can see. And also letting go of the eye. Soon enough, the eyes will disappear. So let go of the eyes. Let go of visual sights. Let go of the feeling connected with sight. And let go of the thoughts connected with sight. Experiencing the eye, but not holding on, not grasping anything. Aware of the ears, able to hear the sounds, whether very close, up 2 miles away. The sensation of hearing. Hearing can go away. Letting go of the ears. Letting go of the sounds. Letting go of the feelings and thoughts connected to sound. aware of the nose and any smells or aroma, whether strong or subtle. How useful that nose is for us to distinguish the sweet from something bad smelling. But this ability will also disappear soon. Letting go of the nose, letting go of all the smells and aromas and perfumes. Letting go of the feelings arising from smells. Letting go of the thoughts arising from smells. Letting go of perceptions arising from smells. Aware of the tongue and the sense of tasting. How much pleasure and goodness we have from tasting. Tasting will soon disappear. Letting go of attachment to tasting. The feelings from tasting. The perception from tasting. The thoughts from tasting. Letting go of everything connected with tasting. Aware of the touching all over the body. So sensitive to touching. The temperature of the air, the touch of cloth on the skin, the touch on the palm of the hands. So many sensations of touching. Soon enough, the touching sensation will disappear. Letting go of touching, letting go of the body. letting go of any feeling, perception, or thought that's coming from touching. Aware of all the sensations as they arise and disappear, not holding any of it, letting go of all of it. And aware of awareness itself, which cognizes all these sensations, watching the watcher, this beautiful mind. Soon enough, this mind will disappear. Let go of the mind. Aware of everything, holding on to nothing. Letting all the sense faculties be alive, awake, sensitive, but not holding anything. Letting go of everything. Not grasping at anything. There's nothing to be disturbed about. Not being disturbed. One is the sage at peace. At this time, I would be happy to open up for any comments or questions you have about any aspect of meditation. Okay, Elaine.
I've been I've been thinking a lot this week about how do you not get attached to a meditation like this, or um, it seems like paradox, not um, putting more into your practice, but not getting attached to looking for attainments and that. Thank you.
Uh, there is one part of the path in particular, which is called path of right effort, where we are encouraged to recognize the difference between those states of mind which are beneficial, or at least those states of mind that are harmless to ourselves, harmless to others, and harmless to anybody, as compared with other states which are harmful. And then to be willing to exert energy to cultivate and bring to development those states that are harmless to anybody, or those states that are wholesome and beneficial, and likewise to be willing to exert a certain amount of energy towards preventing or letting go of the states which are harmful. So it is necessary to be successful in this path, to know the difference between what's beneficial and what's harmful. If you become really sensitized about that, I think you might be able to distinguish a difference between the grasping mind that's got a certain danger in it. And when you can recognize that danger, you don't want to include that. But then there's another way of directing, aiming, exerting energy, and so forth, that is not like that. That's beneficial. And then there's one lesson. We see this around the monastery a lot because we have so many chores to do. And when we see really good and virtuous bhikkhunis, the ones who are really good, if they notice something that needs to be done, that's a good thing to do, they just quickly, with no hesitation whatsoever, they bring their energy and they go and take care of it and get it done. And then they quickly, again and again, like the sweeping and the cleaning and the taking care of the leaves and opening the windows in the morning and closing them in the afternoon, or whatever the cycle is according to the season, doing those things again and again with this kind of like it's a joy of happily recognizing something is good to do, and if it's good to do, just do it. And so we can bring the same kind of energy, the same kind of mind towards our practice, that following the meditation procedure, if we're not, we don't have a mind that's divided, that's saying, oh, I don't want to, I'm too tired, but I have to, stir up, and so I sort of want to do it and I sort of don't want to do it, or something in me is rebellious and doesn't really want to do what's good for me, or something like that. So when we reach the point when we really can recognize what is supporting our true happiness, then it's like so easy to pick up and bring the energy for the things that are connected with true happiness, and much easier to let go of the things that are negative or afflictive once we get that perception clear. So I think that's my suggestion about that. The Buddha recognized the danger in people could be attached to the states of deep samadhi or concentrated meditation. And there are many different occasions where the person lets go of all their negativities and their hindrances and enters into their deep state of meditation. And then with the mindfulness within that, they recognize even the greatest meditation is still subject to conditions. You're having that experience because of causes and conditions. That experience was created by you by virtue of the choices and the efforts that you made. And because it's subject to conditions, it's also impermanent. Because it's impermanent, it's going to disappear. And so even though the meditation itself is a very good thing, you let go of it completely. And this takes you to actually the next sentence after that is standing on that, he turns towards Nibbana. So coming to a very deep, tranquil meditation and then letting go of the greatest meditation. One is able to, that's sort of like the last thing that one could let go of.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chintana.
Good morning. Thank you for that wonderful meditation. My question is, while on the cushion practicing Vipassana meditation, I know to still my mind, and I am thinking, well, what else to do? I reread Bhante Gunaratana's book, Noticing the Breath, being still, and you just led us in another type of meditation, letting go of the senses, and that was really wonderful. My question is, what else do I do with my mind during Vipassana meditation?
It's true that having some kind of a structure, even having a verbal cue or words that are used in meditation to keep the mind connected, it can be very beneficial. There are basically, I said there's 4, maybe more than 4. There's a few lists that are very simple to learn and memorize that can be done within the meditation. So if you know what the 5 aggregates are, this body, these feelings, these perceptions, these volitional formations or intentions, and this knowing faculty or this consciousness, then while you're breathing, you know that the body is breathing. That's the form. While you're breathing, you know that there's a feeling that's happening. You know that there's a perception of the in-breath versus the out-breath. You know that you are intending to be practicing the breath meditation. So there's your volition is right there. While you're staying in the meditation, it's because the mind is willing to stay. That's an intention, a decision to stay. But then if the mind wanders into some other thought, it's because the mind has an intention to go to some other thought. So whatever the mind is doing, whether it stays or whether it wanders, there's an intention that can be seen. And then the knowing ability is able to know all of it. So that's an example of that. Another a very common list is going through the senses, the 5 physical senses and the mental sense. And that is also a really, really great practice to cultivate. Especially, it seems that in the Buddha's system, his understanding of psychology, whenever we get our reactions triggered, it can be traced back to some contact that happened with the senses. So the pleasure or the pain, and then all the reaction that follow on after that, is starting from some contact with the senses. So if we just start like training the mind to notice the sensations in the senses, and then notice what comes up from that. That's why when I was leading, then there's a touch, and then there's a feeling from the touch, and then there's a perception from the touch, there's a thought from the touch, and so on like that. So that's the second list. And then the third one, not to go on with the whole too long, but noticing in terms of impermanence is also a really, really powerful focal point. And so just like doing the breath meditation or watching any other of the aspect of the guidance that we can watch after, you could say, you've got this one question in your mind. Is it the same right now as it was a moment ago? Or is it different? Is it the same or is it changing? And just spend a year investigating that, watching everything you experience and see what stays the same and what's constantly changing. So those are some of the ways that I know in some schools of training, they just say watch the breath, and they won't explain anything about they don't give any conceptual framework for what one could notice within the breath meditation. And that can it's good to stop people from being too intellectual, but it also can be useful to have a framework like that to keep the mind active. And so you would be practicing with this active way of saying, watching in terms of the aggregates, in terms of the sense contact, or in terms of impermanence. So you're doing that actively for a while, and that helps the mind to stay connected and to stay in the meditation. But then after a while, that procedure becomes too tedious and too much agitation, and the mind wants more peace. And then the mind is able to just become simple and quiet, and just the breath is all you need. Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking. Okay, Amber. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. There you go. I really appreciate what you said about the joys that come with daily maintenance and doing the stuff that you really need to do, the healthy things, even if it's cleaning your house or, taking care of self-care of your body. They really do, since they feel like they really do seem to bring tranquility, because they start to realize they feel like the right thing to do. They're the healthy thing to keep you on the path or to just maintain a good life. So that really seems to bring tranquility, even the small things like cleaning. And another thing, during the meditation, it was really cool. You were right at the moment where you were saying, I think you were saying, don't attach. I'm pretty sure you're referring to the mind or something. I'm outside, and just as you were saying that, a breeze was starting to blow, and it's kind of cold out. So it was the very beginning of this breeze that was going to start to be this cold breeze. And I'm not a big fan of the cold. So right where you were saying, don't attach. Remember, don't attach. And it was just going to be that moment where I have to remember not to resist. I'm not big on the cold, so it's kind of cold out here. So it's about to get colder, and I have to remember not to resist. Don't let my mind resist, the go-to reactions of the things that maybe we don't like or are not pleasant to us or not our favorite things. So the cold would be one of those. So, okay, don't resist. But the second you said it was just like, boom, the reminder, everything changes. So there's like the breeze was about to come. It was a feeling that was going to come that maybe I didn't like. And I have to remember that's just going to come and it's going to go. It's changing. It's ever changing. So it's going to come and it's going to go. So that was just the perfect quick little reminder that, every thought, everything's just going to be changing always. So this thing's about to come, and just remember it'll go just as quick. So yeah, I appreciate your teachings today. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. There's so many different levels that contemplation of the end, that whatever we have with this body, with this life, is going to come to an end, which is very helpful for getting out of some of the other mental trips that people can get into. Even something, as Amber pointed out, something as subtle as feeling that resistance or that tightening up around an unpleasant sensation right in the moment. Or it could even be something as gross as like some kind of social situation that's aggravating, or there's some being and you don't like that being, and then that mental, like that disliking is like so dangerous, but then how to get out of it. But if you remember, I'm going to die, and that other being is going to die. So no need to hold on to any kind of resentment. So it can be like powerful all the way up and down the spectrum to remember about impermanence and letting go. Yeah. Thank you for that comment, that observation. Okay, Diana.
I was just thinking when you mentioned resentment, isn't, holding, because, thinking about my own personal thing, it's like, and I remember reading something that isn't holding on to resentment like setting yourself on fire and expecting the other person to get burned. Thinking of my own experience and then having to let go of so many things.
People who have been through a lot of hardship have to learn to let go deeply. It's actually, this is one of the reasons why I believe in sainthood. I met, years ago, I met a lady who she was African, and she had been through so much misery in her country and so much unbelievable cruelty and bad behavior from the powers that be in her country. And what I saw was that it's like if you would hate the people who had harmed you and your family and your people so much, if you would hate them in proportion to the evil that they've done, it would make you so sick and so crazy, and it would destroy you to hate them. So you have to find out how to completely go beyond hatred in order to stay sane, in order to keep your sanity. And it's for that reason that I feel that in this world that, especially with all of the horrible things that that happen in this world, that there are a lot of people who have found the way to transcend hatred, who have, no matter what belief system they're in or what kind of spiritual practice they have, people who I would call saints because they have learned how to completely get beyond hatred.
Well, like Viktor Frankl, when he was being basically tortured by the Nazis, they took his life's work and burned it before his eyes. And then the Nazi commander, he was standing, I believe he was naked. And then the Nazi commander looked at his wedding ring and said, "Give me that too."
Yeah.
And he looked at his ring and he took it off and he handed it to him and he said, "You can't make me hate you." And it's like that was his saving grace for himself, was you can't control how I feel.
Right.
And that struck me when I heard that ages ago too. It's like, oh, you can't make me, you know?
So if all of us can do this, we can all become the sage at peace. And this might be a beautiful moment to bring this morning's meditation to a close. I welcome everyone to join in giving respect to the Triple Gem. The Lord, the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who have practiced well, I bow to the Sangha.
Thank you, Ayya.
Okay,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.